Have you ever started a new year saying, "This year I'm going to become fluent in English," only to feel stuck a few months later? Maybe you're putting in a lot of hard work, but becoming fluent still feels out of reach. That's because goals like becoming fluent in English or any other language sound great, but they don't really tell you how to get there. Instead of setting goals, the secret to success in language learning is building small, consistent habits that fit into your daily life. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. All right, let's talk about why so many English learners get stuck. It usually starts with setting these big, exciting goals. Like, I want to go from being a B2 to a C1 speaker in 6 months. Or I'm going to learn 1,500 vocabulary words in 1 year. Sounds great, right? But here's the problem. How will you measure your success? Are you going to test yourself on all 1,500 words after 1 year? Are you going to spend money on a proficiency test like the IELTS? Unless you need those test results for a job or for university admissions, come on now, don't waste your money. This is why so many learners feel overwhelmed or give up. The goal feels too far away and it's hard to see your daily progress. But there is a better way. Instead of focusing on far-off goals, focus on what you can control right now, your daily learning habits. Learning habits are unlike big, vague goals because learning habits focus on the how, the daily actions that actually help you improve. And here's the best part. They work because they're small, consistent, and measurable. Think of it like this. If proficiency goals like becoming fluent are the destination, then learning habits are the steps you take to get there. And the more consistent your steps, the faster you'll reach your goal without even stressing about it. Here's what makes learning habits so powerful. First, they make your progress visible. You can see your progress. For example, instead of saying, "I want to improve my listening," you commit to listening to a podcast for 10 minutes a day. And by the end of the week, you can look back and say, "Wow, I listened to 70 minutes. That's some real progress." Second, habits focus on what you can control. You can't wake up tomorrow and magically be fluent, but you can wake up and spend 5 minutes shadowing a YouTube video or reviewing 10 vocabulary words. Small wins like this build your confidence and your momentum. And finally, learning habits reduce stress. Instead of worrying about how far away fluency feels, you're focused on simple, achievable actions that you can do today. Let me give you an example. Imagine you want to speak more confidently. Instead of setting a goal like, "I'll be fluent in conversations," you practice speaking for just 10 minutes a day. It could be talking to yourself, recording your voice, or using an app. Over time, those daily minutes add up, and suddenly, speaking doesn't seem so scary anymore. And this is why learning habits work. They keep you moving forward one day at a time without feeling overwhelmed. And the best part, you'll start seeing results faster than you expected. All right, now let's get practical. What are some effective learning habits that you can start today? Remember, these are small, consistent actions that will help you make real progress without feeling overwhelmed. First, commit to reading something in English every day. It doesn't have to be a long novel. It could just be an article, a short story, or some social media posts. The key is to expose yourself to new vocabulary and sentence structures. Just make sure that it's something you're interested in and there aren't too many vocabulary words that are new to you. Try to find materials where you only need to look up one word every 2 to 3 sentences. This way, you're more likely to stick with it and not feel frustrated. Next, try shadowing. This is basically where you listen to a short audio clip or video and repeat what you hear, imitating the speaker's pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation. It's basically karaoke for learning a language. Start with just 2 to 3 minutes a day. It's a fantastic way to improve your speaking and listening at the same time. Another simple but powerful practice is to learn one new word or phrase every day and actually use it. Write it down in a sentence, say it out loud, or text it to a friend. The goal is to make it part of your active vocabulary, not just a word you recognize. Speaking daily, even for just a few minutes, makes a huge difference. You can talk to yourself, record a voice memo, or find a language partner online. The more you practice speaking, the more confident you'll become. And don't worry about mistakes. They're part of the learning process. Finally, keep a vocabulary journal. Every time you hear or read a new word, write it down along with an example sentence and a brief definition in your own words. Review this word frequently over time and make sure you commit this word to memory. This practice helps you remember new words and see your progress over time. So there you go, simple learning practices that you can start today. Choose one or two to try this week, and I promise you'll start seeing results. Now that you know some effective learning practices, let's talk about how to set them up so they actually work for you. Remember, the key is to make these practices simple, consistent, and personalized to your life. First, start small and specific. Instead of saying, I'll read in English, say, I'll read one article on my phone during lunch break. This makes the practice clear and easy to follow because it's better to do a little than to aim too high and give up after a week. Next, set a schedule. Pick a specific time or situation for your practice. For example, reviewing vocabulary on the bus ride home or shadowing 5 minutes right before bed. Attaching your practice with an existing daily routine makes it easier to remember and to stick with. Tracking your progress keeps you motivated. Use a journal, a language app, or even just a checklist. Seeing what you have accomplished can boost your confidence and keep you on the right track. And checking off those items on your list every day feels so good. Your habits don't have to be perfect. If something isn't working, just adjust. Maybe you need to commit less time every day, or you need to switch to a different time of day. The key is to stay flexible. Think of it as experimenting until you find out what works best for you. Finally, don't forget to celebrate your wins. Finish your first week of shadowing. Treat yourself to something you enjoy. Could be extra time playing a video game or a slice of cake at your favorite cafe. Whatever keeps you motivated. So here's our setup checklist. Start small, set a schedule, track your progress, adjust as needed, and reward yourself. When you follow these steps, your learning habits will become part of your routine, and you'll start seeing real progress. Now it's your turn. What's one learning habit you're going to start this week? Write it in the comments and make a commitment to yourself and to our outstanding learning community to take that first step. Remember, small actions lead to big results.